would you like to travel a road trip through the Northeast, stopping in Boston, Newport, New York City, and Washington, D.C.? How would you like to experience hiking and zip-lining through the mountains? How would you like to taste culinary delights from Ethiopia, Vietnam, Belgium, India, and Peru? Today's guest will talk about this and other unique experience which he experienced on a recent road trip through the northeast of the United States. The Humanities Mass Communication Department at Norwell Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, and personalities. And now, join our host, Camila Cunha, to meet the next new director.
Thank you for joining for today's edition of The New Directors. All of the people involved with this program are students in a television production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the very first time today. The guests you are about to meet are students who, when are not on camera, are behind the scenes working hard to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student will write and direct 4 different productions. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves, the productions they have completed, and give you the chance to get to know them and watch their progress throughout the semester. Our guest today is a person who is an experienced traveler who spent this past summer driving along the Northeast Corridor. He also has a keen interest in culinary delights. Now, I would like to introduce you today to our guest, Mario Brand. Hi, Mario.
Hello.
So we know that you took a trip this summer, and it was very exciting. Can you tell us about your trip?
Well, yeah, it was a trip that started out in Washington, D.C., traveling up all the way and ending in Boston. And it was just about stopping in different cities and eating in different restaurants. And there was so much to do along the way, such as, the highlight was doing zip lining in Hunter Mountain in New York. And that was a crazy experience because we were up like 800 feet in the air and going at like excess of 60 miles per hour. Beautiful sights along the way. Newport was beautiful. There was a lot of seafood, which I like, and there's a history of Newport and Boston as seafaring cities. So, watching ships and just the history of lighthouses, ships, and then, like I said, ziplining was just a crazy experience. It just brought out a lot of emotions. Because you have no control of what you're doing. You just jump and take a leap of faith out when you're up there, and you end up coming out of it just with so much adrenaline and excitement. Apart from that, I was, we had the food, which was just phenomenal. Going, to different cities, you got to taste a little bit of culinary delights from different places. In Washington, D.C., you get a little bit of the Atlantic. Being so close to Virginia and Washington, D.C., you get a lot of different influences, not to mention New York, when you get so many restaurants from different cultures all mixed in together. And then, like Newport and Boston, which have a lot of history with seafood, you get up to taste just so much crazy stuff. Along the way, we had Moroccan food. There's a lobster from Newport. That's New York City. And some Belgian desserts, which were really awesome, as well as the beer. And also, speaking about the beer, there's Waffles and Dinges, which had Belgian waffles and beer-flavored ice cream.
That sounds very exciting. Could you tell us why you chose to take the TV production course?
Well, the TV production has a side of mystery, almost like a magical side to it, which I wanted to learn more about. I wanted to get first-hand experience with the newest cameras out there, and editing has always been something that I really wanted to do. That's the magical side of it, what goes on behind the scenes. And it's also useful for possible use in my career in journalism and public relations.
What are some of the most useful things that you've learned in this course?
Useful things that I've learned were basic operation of the camera, learning to focus, depth of field, spot focusing, lighting, framing, writing a script for organizational purposes, doing diagrams for camera positioning, and editing with Avid, learning in and out points, lifting, extracting, overwriting, and adding keyframes for audio.
That sounds like a lot of exciting things to learn. Can you tell us about your learning sequence, the Life at NCC project, your Fall New England, and your Orange project?
Sure. The learning sequence, learning about sketching, that was very important for planning purposes. The storyboard made it easier to then go back and just plan out those scenes in real life. You know, we were learning about doing clean entrances, clean exits, and close-ups. Making sure that the sequence does not jump was very important too. The Life at NCC project was you know, a continuation of the learning sequence. Learning to key in titles was you know, was one of the first things that we learned. Also dropping in music, even though it was just very basic, but we were able to do that. And like I said, we were just putting to use those things that we learned in the learning sequence into this sequence. So it was just building on that basis and going from there and learning more. The Fall New England project, we were learning to use the rule of thirds, emotional lines, and the lines of grace. Continuous zooms were put to good use, as well as shift focusing, which became just very important in nature, trying to go from focusing from one thing to another. And it was really fun. Plus, we got to add the titles and editing music. The Orange project, we learned to use the theme for music and using the music for ambience. It was a lot of fun because of the we had a lot of freedom to do what we wanted to do. So it was, you know, even though we had a theme to stick to, it was fun because we had a freedom to do what we wanted to do.
And can you tell us about your best project?
Sure. My best project was Fall in New England. I got to go outside, which was really exciting, and be one with nature. It was very relaxing to be out there. And it was almost like a scavenger hunt. In order to find requirements that were given to us. There, I believe that I did my best editing, and adding the 3 tracks of music was very fun because you got to learn not only how to do the editing visually, but also music to add ambience and to make the project stand out. It was really fun to be out there and shoot with animals and looking, like I said, like the scavenger hunt side of it, looking for those things that were required for the project, such as the emotional lines and lines of grace, which was really great.
You mentioned the many things you've learned this semester. Can you tell us what was most interesting and how you're going to put it to use futurely?
Well, in the future, filming and editing, obviously, very useful in the future in my possible career in journalism and or public relations, as well as home projects that I'm going to take on. You know, also for my future travels, it'll be fun to catalog it and just be able to be creative, a little bit more creative in a more professional manner, and just to create better looking projects and to have those memories at home.
Today we got to meet someone who shared with us his travel and culinary experiences. As the new TV director, he hopes to apply what he has learned at NCC to document other travels and culinary adventure. He also plans to use the new knowledge from TV1 to edit exciting travel videos in the future. I would like to thank our guest Mario Brand for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed meeting some of the television's future directors, and we hope you will continue to join us each week to watch our progress. Thank you, and have a good day.
This has been The New Directors, with your host, Camila Cunha, directed by Austin Brodsky. I'm your announcer, Aline Brito. The New Directors is a Norwalk Community College student production.